What's up guys, Tommy here back with another video. Now in this video, I wanted to just talk about a few changes that some of you guys might have seen announced by Wells Fargo about Wells Fargo planning on changing one of their little credit products, personal credit products that they had. Okay, and I'm talking specifically about the personal line of credit. Now, for those of you guys who haven't heard already, they essentially have said that they are going to be planning to completely disband this product and discontinue it. Okay, so in this video, I'm going to touch on what that news might mean for you if you're someone who has this Wells Fargo product and what the next step should be. Now, later on in this video, also, I will be touching about how this is going to affect your credit score. So if you're in that situation, you might want to stay tuned as well. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and jump into it. So this happened not too long ago. I actually have my notes pulled up here on my screen to make sure that I don't miss anything. And basically, I wanted to kind of just touch on it to let you guys know that Wells Fargo has mentioned that they're going to be canceling their personal lines of credit. Okay. Now, this is credit lines that are ranging from $3,000 all the way to $100,000. And just to be clear, this is not credit cards. Okay. I'm not saying that they're canceling their credit cards. They're canceling literally personal lines of credit. Now, me personally, the way I look at it is, I think it was a lot more powerful than having a credit card. As you know, with a credit card, you can use it. You just have to swipe it in different locations. Whereas lines of credit was quite literally like you were able to draw down on a credit or access to cash that you had. So you could write a check using this line of credit account, as long as you didn't draw it past whatever your credit limit was. Okay, so I think it was a lot more powerful than credit cards, and it just had better interest rate that you would be getting through it compared to what you're going to see with credit card products. Okay, so it is a shame that they decided to close it down. Part of the speculation as well is that they're closing it down due to balance sheet limitations that they have that were imposed on them by the Federal Reserve, because of the issues that they had in the past. Now, some of you guys might have already heard about this, but they were pretty much opening up accounts for anybody, right? You might have called in to just do some account maintenance or had questions about any sort of accounts that you had, and they would somehow trick you into opening up 2 savings accounts or a couple checking accounts, and you didn't realize it. And next thing you know, you were going into the negative on these accounts and things like that, right? And it was this whole issue. I even know people who worked at Wells Fargo at the time, and they talked about how stressful the environment was because of all these things that they had going on. Okay, and this happened. It was going on probably from the early 2000s on to about, I'd say to the 2010s. And it became an issue, and they eventually ended up settling once this became a whole conspiracy around, I want to say 2017, 2018. Okay. And part of them doing this was that they promised, they weren't allowed to do much when it came to their balance sheet, right? They were really restricted in terms of their balance sheet by the Federal Reserve until they started doing more things in the range of compliance and things like that. Okay. So probably your next question is going to be, how can this actually affect you? So the way this is going to negatively impact your score is if you're not able to pay down the balance before closure. Now, not only is if you're having trouble paying down the balance for a long period, not only will you'll eventually have an issue, especially if you're already missing payments, it being sent off to collections and you're getting late payments, and that's how it's going to affect you. But another way it's going to affect you is with your credit utilization. Once that account is going to be closed down, then you're going to now be in a situation where your available credit, or the amount of credit that you're using, is way more than your available credit. So your credit utilization, which counts for 30% of your score, is going to be just, through the roof, right? And that's going to lower, some people might even see their scores drop down, let's say 100 points, maybe even more, depending on what type of situation they're in. Okay. So that's one of the reasons why I wanted to touch on this and just kind of bring this video to you guys. Now, I have shot a lot of videos on how you can actually go about fixing your credit. So if you're in situations where you have other issues on your credit, like collections, late payments, even late payments with these specific accounts, I've shot videos on how to get those issues fixed, even other credit issues. And I'll link to all those down below in the description so you can take a look at them. But, I think that's kind of going to be one way that is really going to impact you guys. And I think, so towards the end of this video, I have a few other points I want to touch on. And towards the end of this video, I'm also going to touch on, one thing you can do if you're in that situation, how to go about keeping your score from dropping those 100 points or anything like that, right? Even 50 points, which can be, it can throw you from the 700 club down to the 600s, right? So I'm going to touch on that as well. Now, in terms of my thoughts on why this is happening, again, I mentioned previously that, they said in an article, and I'll throw a link to that article in the description, but they said that it was them trying to simplify their product offerings. I think it's kind of in a different direction. I think what the real issue is that that they're probably having issues when it comes to profitability. Not necessarily having issues with profitability, but they're trying to be more profitable. And it makes more sense for them to push these people who are using the lines of credit into more profitable sections, right? As opposed to me giving you a line of credit that might have let's say it has like an 8% or 9% or even 10% interest rate. Why not get you into a credit card? And now I know if I have you into a credit card, you're going to be paying closer to 15, 18, 19, 20, right? You're going to be paying a lot more. So I think it's kind of two different things that they're trying to funnel people into, right? It's going to be either funneling people into credit cards or funneling people into personal loans. Credit cards being that you're going to pay a higher interest than you would with the personal line of credit, and personal loans being that you're paying interest on the full amount borrowed, right? And it's not revolving, right? The thing with these lines of credit was like, if you didn't draw down on the line of credit, I could have $100,000 available to me. If I didn't use any of that money, I didn't pay any interest. But now it's going to be a situation where if I get a personal loan for $100,000, even though I only need $80,000, right? I'm paying interest on that full amount, the full $100,000. And I think that's kind of where they're looking at. And they were like, it makes more sense for them to push people into other product offerings, especially because they still have the situation with the Federal Reserve where, in terms of their balance sheet, they can't really grow their balance sheet the way they want to. Okay. Now, in terms of how you can actually avoid seeing a large drop on your credit score, the biggest thing is going to be, obviously, the obvious one is going to be paying down that personal line of credit that you currently have as soon as you can, right? I preferably want to do it before they close it down. Okay. So that's the big thing, right? If you can pay it down, if you don't have a large amount, you're able to pay it down within a month or so, that's what I would do. Now, if you're in a situation where you can't pay down, I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who are in situations where, they don't feel that they can pay down the credit line. Another route that you can go is you can get additional lines of credit. Okay. So what I mean is you get access to other credit lines. It doesn't have to be personal lines of credit. It can be even credit cards, things like that are going to impact the revolving credit lines category, which is the amounts owed. This is 30% of your score. I think it can give you you can earn or lose up to 165 points in this category. If you can add additional credit lines to offset the amount of credit that you actually have in that PLOC or personal line of credit, then that's where you can see, you can see where you can negate the effects that you're going to have whenever they close down that line of credit, right? When Wells Fargo closes down that account that you have. So that's kind of the recommendation I would give people to use immediately. Again, I've shot other videos that go more in depth and will actually break down exactly what you can do in situations where you have a high credit utilization, which is the situation that you're going to be in once they close down the PLOC. But I'll link to those videos down below. Okay. So that's going to be the gist of it, guys. I just wanted to bring this information to keep you guys updated on the news and what's going on in the personal finance landscape and, any just credit news that could affect you if you're in that situation. Okay. So be sure to check out the links down below. They're going to be able to give you more information on things I talked about, as well as if you're below, 720 credit score, check out the links down below and they're going to help you be able to get into the 720s to be able to have access to all the credit that you need in terms of the best rates, the best credit products out there and everything like that. Okay, so be sure to check that out. Now, if you enjoyed this video, be sure you throw a like on this video so we know we're heading in the right direction and that we've brought value to you guys. And also be sure you hit the subscribe button down below so you don't miss any of our future videos. Okay, so that's gonna be it, and that's gonna be the gist of this video, guys. I appreciate y'all taking the time to watch, and I will see you at the next one. Peace.